You're so open. You're so like, reflecting and good in communication with other people. I mean, we just met right now, and I feel like, I know you for forever. And
Oh, good, good.
were you always like that? I know that you're very curious. Like, that's also really something amazing, because like writing books on different subjects,
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's not possible for everyone, but you hit the dot every time. I mean, were you always like that, or how this process, your previous life, helped you to age now to be that modern and strong survivor?
Yeah, well, a few things come to mind when you say that. First of all, my dad was a doctor. I always wanted to be just like him and be a doctor. But I worked in a hospital the summer before college. I found out that wasn't going to happen. Scalpels and needles and things like that. But my dad was also, besides being a cancer surgeon, he was an avid private pilot, and he crashed in our private family plane when I was only 13. And I watched my mom, who, she took care of us. She didn't have a job outside the home. And I watched her face that incredible adversity. And I saw her resilience. And I think that she really taught me a lot in that, simply by example. She always gave me positive affirmations. Always be independent, always be able to take care of yourself. You never know what tomorrow is going to bring. So, be a strong woman. And I think those positive affirmations when you're a child are incredibly important. And so I try to do it with my kids. And I try to always, share that thought with other people, that they should give those positive affirmations to their kids. And then, I always was that I'm not only a glass half full kind of girl, but I am the one that just goes out where angels fear to tread. Now, also, I skipped a couple grades in school. When I graduated from high school, I was only 16. And my mom, and this was in, the 60s, when college campuses, they were burning their bras and free love and all that. My mom was like, I'm not sending this 16-year-old out onto a college campus. So she found an ad for this college that was aboard a ship. And we sailed around the world. And I had applied to Berkeley and Stanford and UCLA, and I'd written my essays for all of them. She found an ad for this thing called World Campus Afloat. It's now called Semester at Sea. And she took my essays and she filled out the application, unbeknownst to me. And I got accepted. And she came to me and said, this is what you're going to do in September. I'm going to drive you down to San Francisco. We lived a little north of San Francisco. And you're going to get on a plane and fly to New York. And you're going to board this ship. And you're going to go around the world for 3 months. And you're going to study aboard the ship. And she said, because I want you to expand your horizons. I want you to see the world. I want you to want more for yourself. I want you to try to find your place in the world. And that really impacted my life. I mean, look, I came back and I couldn't bear the idea of going back and just being in the United States and going to school. So I went to Mexico, and I went to school in Mexico City for the next 3 years. And I was just the explorer. I was always wanting I was kind of like a teenage gypsy, and I wanted to see the world. It was self-discovery, but believe me, it had a huge impact on my being hired as a journalist. I spoke Spanish. I had been around the world. I think it's the reason why I was hired, at 24 years old as a journalist. And that was at a time when there weren't very many women on the air. So after just a couple of years there in my hometown of Sacramento, California, I got offered a job in New York City. And, from there, it just all kind of took off.